Welcome everybody to opening night. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Pete Edwards. I'm a director for the show, and I'm also a producer for Silverstein Players. This is the 10th anniversary for Silverstein Players, and we're so excited to bring you this show. We are all about giving back to the community. If you're ever interested in doing theater with us, we take everybody from all skill levels and we love it. And we always want to bring people into the theater community and have the theater community give back. This show, we get to give back to a great beneficiary, the One Focus Foundation. And here with me is Kevin Barber. So please take it away.
Okay, this thing on? My name is Kevin Barber. I'm the founder of the One Focus Foundation. We have an organization here in town. We work with at-risk youth. We try to provide mentorship opportunities for males and females ages 14 to 21, whether they've been adjudicated or not. If whoever is in need of a little extra help, because we want to try to bring back that it takes a village mentality. So I know we work with a lot of single moms who have multiple kids and they need a little help with those kids. And any of the other parents who want to participate at any level, whether it's volunteer through administrative things, mentorship. I need a lot of help with administrative stuff because I don't know how to do anything. But we definitely want to do what we can to help some of these young people advance to the next level. We're 14 to 21, so once these guys get to the point of where they're about to graduate, we want to provide employment opportunities. We want to give some insight on some things that they can do once we find out what it is they want to do. But we want to try to keep them together, work with them, talk with them, get to understand them, because a lot of these kids feel ostracized or they feel like nobody pays attention to them. And they think that our lives began the day they met us. So to them, we don't understand. That's what they all say. So what we want to try to do is provide these opportunities, and we just try to move from there. And we stay with them, excuse me, we really try to stay with them throughout the remainder of their lives. This is not something that we just want to fix them, because they're not broken. They just feel lonely. So we try to provide some of those opportunities. So anybody that is interested at any point, you can see me. We can, if you have anything that you'd like to volunteer to help out at any time, even if it's event planning, that we have events coming up, feel free to contact us on our website, onefocus.org, FOKUS, and enjoy the show.
All right, thank you. Okay, there will be one 15-minute intermission about halfway through. There's concessions being sold out there. He will be out there during intermission. If you have questions, you can talk to him. You can also find it on the website. He's got a Facebook site. There's a lot of things. You can always reach out to anyone at Silverstein, and we'll be happy to share his contact information or whatever you need to get a hold of him. So with that, let's watch the show.
And that concludes the court's explanation of the legal aspects of this case. And now, gentlemen of the jury, I come to my final instruction to you. Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You've listened to the testimony, and you've had the law read to you and interpreted as it applies to this case. It now becomes your duty to try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. If there is a reasonable doubt, then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then you must, in good conscience, find the accused guilty. However you decide, your verdict must be unanimous. In the event you find the accused guilty, the bench will not entertain a recommendation for mercy. The death sentence is mandatory in this case. I don't envy you your job. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
Juror 1, Juror 2, Juror 3, Juror 4, Juror 5, Juror 6, Juror 7, Juror 8, Juror 9, Juror 11, and Juror 12.
Want some gum?
No thanks.
You know, I phoned up the weather. It's supposed to be the hottest day of the year. You'd think they'd at least air condition the place. I almost dropped dead in court.
All right, gentlemen, everybody's here checked in. I'll be right outside the door. If anything, please just knock.
Oh, where's the restroom?
It's right around here, sir.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't know they locked the door.
Sure they locked the door. What'd you think?
I don't know. It just never occurred to me.
Hey, what's this?
Oh, you know, I was thinking we might want to vote by ballot, so I was preparing some ballots.
Great idea. Maybe we can get the kid elected senator or something, huh? So what did you think?
I don't know. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah? I could hardly stay awake.
Well, I mean, I've never been on a jury before.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've sat on juries before. I mean, you know what gets to me is the way these lawyers can just talk and talk and talk, even when the case is as obvious as this one. Have you ever heard so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
I mean, sure they are. I mean, everybody's got a right to a fair trial. I mean, that's the system. Now, look, I'm not one to speak against it, but, you know, sometimes I think we ought to just take these tough kids and smack them down before they get in trouble. Know what I mean? Sure save us a lot of time and money.
Say, how about we get started?
Yeah, let's get this over with. We've all got better things to do.
Well, I think we should take a 5-minute break, gentlemen. I mean, one man's at the bathroom, and so just get a drink and, you know, hang out.
Should we sit in order, or
I don't know. I suppose so.
just kind of chose a seat? I don't know.
Somewhere.
Not a bad view. So, what do you think of the case so far? It had a lot of interest to me, you know, no dead spots. You know, we're lucky that we got a murder case. I figured us for a burglary or an assault. Those could be the dullest. Hey, say, isn't that the Woolworth building?
That's right.
You know, I've lived here my entire life and I've never been in it once.
Kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Sitting in court 3 days for that?
Yeah. And what about that business with the knife? You know, asking grown-up people to believe that kind of crap.
Well, listen, you got to expect that, right? You know what you're getting with them, huh?
Yeah, I suppose so. You got a cold or something?
Oh, and how? You know, these hot weather colds, they'll kill you. My nose won't stop running, and yet I can barely touch my nose.
Sounds like your horn's all right, but what about your lights?
Funny. Funny.
Man, let's see. Great. The fan doesn't work. Somebody take a letter to the mayor. Dear Mr. Stingy.
Say, I didn't get a chance to buy a paper this morning. Anything new and exciting going on?
I was just wondering how the market closed.
I wouldn't know about that. You on the exchange or something?
I'm a broker.
Oh, really? I own my own messenger service, Beck and Call Company. My son helped me name it when he was 8 years old. We employ 37 people. Started from the ground up.
Mr. Foreman, how about we get started?
All right, gentlemen, let's take our seats. That's a long enough break.
This better go fast. I got tickets to the ball game tonight. Yankees, Cleveland. We got this new kid pitching, Mijawalski, Majalewski, whatever his name is. Oh, this kid. I mean, shoot! A real jug handle, just... Big ball fan, aren't you, bud?
Not really.
Where do you want us to sit?
You know, I was thinking it'd be good to sit in jury order, 2, 3, 4, and so on, if that's okay with you gentlemen.
Well, what's the difference?
I think it's perfectly reasonable to sit according to number.
Thank you.
Let it be.
All right, so this would be 12 then, and that'd be 2.
All right, where am I?
Next to suspenders.
What was your impression of the prosecuting attorney?
I beg pardon?
Well, he seemed really sharp to me. You know, the way he hammered out all his points one by one in logical sequence. You have to have a really good brain to do something like that.
Yes, I think he did an expert job.
You know, he had a lot of drive, too. You know, real drive.
Hey, let's get this show on the road.
How about we take our seats? The gentleman at the window. How about we sit down?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Kind of hard to imagine, isn't it? Kid just kills his father, boom, just like that.
Well, if you analyze the figures.
Figures? What figures? It's those kids up there. They let them run wild. But I might tell you, it serves them right, you know what I mean?
Is everyone here? We still have an empty chair.
The old man's inside.
Oh, would you knock on the door for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, shortstop.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you Yankees fan?
No, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee? That's like getting hit in the head with a crowbar once a day. You tell me, who they got? I'm asking you, who they got besides great groundskeepers?
We'd like to get started, gentlemen, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't mean to keep you gentlemen waiting.
Oh, no problem, sir. Just find your seat.
Oh, very well. Thank you.
All right. Now, you guys can handle this any way you want to. I mean, I'm not going to set any rules here. If you'd like, we can discuss this first and then vote. That's certainly one way.
Thank you.
Or
Thank you.
we can vote right now and see where we are. I mean, that's another way. And, well, that's all I got to say.
I think it's customary to take a preliminary vote.
Yeah, let's vote. Who knows? Maybe we can all go home.
All right. Now, it's up to you. Just let's remember what the judge said. We've got a first-degree murder charge here. So if we vote guilty, we send the accused to the electric chair. That's mandatory.
I think we all know that.
Yeah, come on, let's vote.
Come on, let's just see who's
All right.
where. All right?
Anybody who doesn't want to vote? Okay. Now, it's got to be 12-0. Either way, that's the law. So I'll call this out. Raise your hand. Vote accordingly. Okay, gentlemen? All right. All those in favor of guilty, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's 11 for guilty. Not guilty. 1. Right. Okay, it's 11-1 in favor of guilty, and that's where we stand.
Boy, oh boy. There's always one, isn't there?
So, what do we do now?
Boy, oh boy.
Well, I guess we talk.
Listen, you don't really think this boy is innocent now, do you?
I don't know.
I mean, come on, let's be reasonable. You sat in the courtroom with the rest of us. You saw and heard the same thing we did. The man was a dangerous killer.
The man? He's a 16-year-old boy.
He was old enough to shove a knife 4 inches into his own father's chest.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. I was convinced from the first day.
Yeah, I mean, who wasn't? I mean, this is clearly one of those open and closed things, you know? I mean, this kid is guilty. They proved it a dozen different ways in court. Would you like me to list them for you?
No.
Then what do you want?
I just want to talk.
Well, what is there to talk about? What? 11 men here agree. Nobody had to think twice about it, except you.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you believe this kid's story?
I don't know. Maybe I don't.
So what'd you vote not guilty for?
Well, there were 11 votes for guilty. It's not easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to Sing Sing to die in the electric chair.
Who says it's easy for me?
No one.
What? Just because I voted fast? Look, I honestly think he's guilty. You couldn't change my mind if you talked to me for 100 years.
I'm not trying to change your mind. It's just that we're talking about someone's life here. We can't decide this in just 5 minutes. Supposing we're wrong.
Supposing we're wrong. Suppose this whole building fell on my head. You can suppose anything.
That's right, you can.
Who cares how long it takes us? We honestly think he's guilty. So, suppose we finish in 5 minutes. So what?
Well then, suppose we take an hour. Your ball game doesn't start until 8 o'clock.
All right, Slugger. Be my guest.
So, who's got something to say?
Oh, not me.
I'm willing to put in an hour.
Anyone? Anything?
Nothing? No? Great. I got this fantastic story. You guys are going to love this one. Okay, so this woman, she runs into the doctor's office, okay, and she is stripped
That's
to the
not
waist.
what we're sitting here for.
All right, then, smart guy, you tell me, what the hell are we sitting here for then, huh?
I don't know, maybe nothing. But this kid, he's had a really rough life. He grew up in a slum. His mother is dead since he was 9 years old. His father was in jail for forgery, and he spent 1.5 years in an orphanage. He's had a really rough 16 years. I just think that maybe we owe him a few words, that's all.
Owe him? To hell with that. I don't mind telling you, pal, we don't owe that kid a damn thing. But he got a fair trial, didn't he? You know how much that trial cost? He's lucky he got that, you know what I mean? Look, men, we're all adults here, right? We all sat in that courtroom for 3 days. We all heard the facts. Know what? You're telling me we've got to believe this kid now? Knowing what he is? Where he comes from? Listen, I've been around these people all my life, all right? You can't believe a word they say. You know what I mean? They are born liars.
It suddenly occurs to me that you must be a very ignorant man.
What do you mean? What the hell are you
What do you
talking
think
about?
you have a monopoly on the truth?
What are you making a
All right,
federal
calm
case
down.
out of?
I
Can you
believe
believe
certain
this
things
guy?
should be
Where
pointed
does he
out
get
to
off?
this man.
Monopoly for crying out loud.
Just sit down.
Calm down.
Why are you letting them get you all worked up for?
Gentlemen, I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think if we're in here, we ought to be able to behave like gentlemen. If we're going to discuss this case, let's stick to the facts.
Makes a really good point, gentlemen. We have a job to do, so let's do our job. Perhaps if the gentleman down there, who disagrees with the rest of us, could, tell us why, could tell us, what he's thinking, then we could show him where he's probably mixed up.
What is that? Oh, it's one of the products I work on at the ad agency. Yeah, rice, pops, the breakfast with the built-in bounce. I wrote that.
That is very catchy.
If you gentlemen don't mind, we were trying to get somewhere here.
I'm sorry, I have this habit of doodling. It helps me think clearly.
I appreciate that, but we could sit here forever, technically.
Well, now, listen, it seems to me that, this is just a thought here, but it's up to us to convince this gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. I mean, maybe if we all took a minute or two. I mean, it's just a thought.
No, it's a good one. I like it. Supposing we go once around the table.
Anything. Let's just get started.
Great. You can go first.
Oh, not me. We should probably go in order.
In order. Okay, that sounds fair. 2 minutes apiece, gentlemen. I guess that means you're first.
Oh. Well, well, it's hard to put into words. I just think he's guilty. I thought it was obvious from the word go. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Well, nobody has to prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't even have to open his mouth if he doesn't want to. That's in the Constitution.
Oh, well, sure, I know that. What I meant, well, the man is guilty. I mean, somebody saw him do it.
Okay, here's what I think. And I've got no personal feelings in this matter, gentlemen. I just want to talk about some facts. Number one, the old man who lived on the second floor below the room where the murder took place. He said at about 10 minutes after midnight, he heard a noise in the apartment above. It sounded like a fight. He heard the boy shout out, "I'm going to kill you." A moment later, he hears the body hit the floor. He goes to his front door and sees the boy running down the stairs and away from the house. He goes back in, calls the police. They come and find the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death around midnight.
Exactly. I mean, these are facts, gentlemen. You can't refute the facts. So, I mean, listen, I can be just as sentimental as the next guy when I have to. I get this kid's only 16, but by God, he's still got to pay for what he did to his father.
I'm with you, Pops.
Well, it was obvious to me that the boy's entire story was flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the murder, and yet he couldn't remember a single name of any of the movies he saw or who starred in them.
That's right. Listen to them, gentlemen. That's absolutely right.
No one saw him go in or out of the theater.
Yeah, and what about that woman across the street, right? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does.
He's right. She was the only one who saw the killing.
Now, let's go in order here, gentlemen. It's
No. Just hold on a second. So here's this woman, right? Here's this woman. She's lying in bed. All right, she can't get to sleep. All right, she's dying from the heat. Know what I mean? Anyway, so she looks out the window and she sees the kid across the way stick the knife into his father. The time is 12:10 on the nose. All right? Look, gentlemen, everything fits. All right? She's known this kid her whole life, and his window is directly across the way from hers, and she swore she saw him do it.
Through the cars of a passing elevated train.
Exactly, through the cars of a passing elevated train. They were moving that train downtown, had nobody on it, the lights were off, remember? They proved in court that you could look through the windows of an L train when it's moving, when the lights are off and nobody's on, and you could see what's happening on the other side. Now, they proved that in court.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay?
You don't believe the boy's story. Why do you believe the woman's story? Isn't she one of them, too?
Oh, I see what we have here. We have a real smartass at the end of the table, don't we?
Okay.
That's what we got, a
All
real
right, let's
smartass.
calm
Oh,
down.
what's he so
Hold on.
damn wise about to begin with, huh?
All right, let's hold down the yelling. Who's up next?
He is.
All right. Juror number 5, it's your turn.
No thanks, I'll pass.
Pass? Well, that's your privilege. How about the next gentleman?
I don't know. Like I said, I was convinced pretty early on because I was looking for a motive. That's very important. Without the motive, where's the case? So you think about the testimony from the family that lived across the hall from the kid's apartment. That was very powerful. Would they say the kid and the father got in an argument around 7 o'clock that night? I could be wrong about that.
No, that was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right. It was 8 o'clock. And they heard the argument, but they couldn't make out what was being said. Then they saw the boy walk out a little bit after he was slapped by his father. What does that prove?
Well, it doesn't prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Well, you said that it showed motive. The district attorney said the same thing. I don't think that's a very strong motive. Look, this kid has been beat up and hit by his father his entire life. Violence is practically a natural state of affairs for him. I don't think that 2 slaps would have caused him to commit murder.
It could have been 2 slaps too many. Everyone has a breaking point.
Anything else, sir?
No.
All right. The next gentleman.
Oh, me?
Unless you want us to go back to the top of the batting order.
I mean, come on, it's practically all been said already. I mean, let's think about it. This kid's what, 0 for 5? At 10, he was in children's court for throwing a rock at a teacher. At 14, he was in reform school. He's been arrested for mugging. He's stolen a car. He's been picked up twice for trying to slash another teenager with a knife. He's real good with switch knives, they said. This is a very fine boy.
His father used to beat him up his entire life, and he used his fists.
I would too, kid like that.
Wouldn't you call those beatings a strong motive for him to kill his father?
I don't know. I'd say it's a motive for him to be an angry kid, I'll say that.
Listen, it's just the kids these days. The way they are, hostile and angry. I mean, you can't do a damn thing with them. I mean, they talk with no respect to adults. When I was that boy's age, I called my father sir. That's right, sir. You ever hear a boy call his father that anymore?
Fathers don't think that's important anymore.
No? You got kids?
2.
Yeah, well, I've got one. He just turned 20. He was our pride and joy. We did everything for this kid. And he turned 9. He ran away from a fight. I was never so disgusted and embarrassed in my life. I told him right then and there, by God, I'd make a man out of him or I'd break him in half trying. Yeah, I made a man out of him, all right. He turned 16, we got in a fight. Punched me right in the jaw. Big kid, you know. ain't seen him now for 2 years. Damn rotten kid. And you work your heart out. Yeah. Let's get on with this thing.
Gentlemen, I think we're losing the point here. This boy, let's say he is the product of a broken home, a filthy neighborhood. We can't help that. The boy was born in a slum. Slums are breeding grounds for criminals. You know that, so do I. It's no secret. Children from slums are, potential menaces to society. Now, I think
Brother, you can say that again. The kids that crawl out of those places, they are nothing but garbage. You know, I don't mind telling you, I don't want any part of them.
I lived in a slum all my life. I nursed that trash in Harlem Hospital 6 nights a week.
Now hold on a second.
I used to play in a backyard filled with garbage. Does it still smell on me?
Now, wait a second,
All
pal.
right. There was nothing personal intended.
There is
when
something
he-
personal.
Hey, bud. Listen, he didn't mean you. Don't be so sensitive.
This sensitivity, I understand.
All right. We're losing the point here. Let's get on with it. You're next. Let's go.
Me?
Yeah,
I thought the idea was that you were all supposed to be convincing me.
that's right. I forgot. Okay, the next gentleman.
Wait a second. What the hell's the difference? I mean, he's the one who's keeping us here. Let's hear what he's got to say, huh?
No, we agreed to do this a certain way, and we're going to stick to what we
Come
said.
on, stop being such a kid, will you?
A kid?
Yeah, a kid.
What do you mean by that?
What the hell do you think I mean? A kid.
Just because I'm trying to keep
kid.
this thing organized, I'm a kid? Well, tell you what. Here, you sit here. You take the responsibility. I'll just shut the hell up. How's that?
What are you getting so hot about? Just calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Here, you take the chair. Let's see you keep this running all smooth. You think it's a snap? Well, come on, Mr. Foreman. Let's see how you do.
Did you ever see such a thing?
Oh, you think I'm funny now, do you?
I think you're hilarious.
Hey, take it easy. The whole thing's unimportant.
Unimportant? You want to try and...
No. You're doing a wonderful job. Let's continue.
You're doing great. Just hang in there and pitch.
How about we just hear from someone, huh?
All right, if you want to hear from me about how I feel right now, I'm okay with that.
I don't care what you do. Just somebody do something.
All right, well, look, I don't have anything brilliant to say. I only know all the same things that you know. From the evidence and the testimony at the trial, the boy looks guilty, and maybe he is. But I sat there for 3 days, and I listened to all the evidence pile up, and I started to get a peculiar feeling about this case. I mean, nothing is that positive. I started to think that maybe the kid's attorney wasn't doing a very good job. Like, I had questions that I would have wanted to ask. You know, he seemed like he was forgetting things, little things.
Little things? What little things? Look, if he's not asking the questions, it's because he knows the answers already, and he's afraid it'll hurt the case, right?
It's also possible for a lawyer to just be plain stupid, isn't it?
Sounds like you met my brother-in-law.
Look, I put myself in the boy's place. I think I would have asked for another attorney. If I was on trial for my life, I would have wanted my attorney to rip the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least to try to. Look, there was one alleged eyewitness who saw the killing. And then there was one that claims that they heard the killing and saw the boy run out of the apartment a little bit later. There was a lot of other circumstantial evidence, but those two witnesses were the entire case for the prosecution. Suppose they were wrong.
Suppose they were wrong. I mean, what's the point of having witnesses at all?
Could they be wrong?
Well, they sat on the stand under oath. What are you trying to say?
That they're just people. That people make mistakes. Could they be wrong?
No, I don't think so.
But do you know so?
Well, now listen, nobody can know a thing like that. This isn't an exact science.
That's right, it's not.
All right. Let's get back to the point here. What about the knife they found stuck in the father's chest?
Well, wait a minute. I think we ought to. There are some people who haven't talked yet.
Look, they can talk whenever they want to. Just sit there and be quiet a second, will you? So what about the knife? You know, the one that this fine, upstanding boy admitted to buying the night he murdered his father? Let's talk about that.
All right, let's talk about it. Actually, in fact, I'd like to see the knife again. Mr. Foreman, can we get the knife in here, please?
Yeah, we can get the knife.
Mr. Foreman, we all know what the knife looks like.
Looks like a knife.
What are we going to get out of seeing it again?
Well, you brought it up.
The gentleman has every right to see exhibits and evidence.
Yeah, I need to see the knife.
The knife and how it was purchased. That's pretty strong evidence, don't you think?
I do.
Good. Let's take a few facts one at a time. 1, the boy admitted to leaving his house at about 8 o'clock that evening after being punched several times by his father.
He didn't say punched, he said slapped. There's a huge difference between a punch and a slap.
After being hit several times by his father. 2, he went directly from his house to one of those neighborhood junk shops where he bought what do you call them?
Switch knife?
Switchblade
knife.
Switchblade knives, thank you. 3, this wasn't any ordinary knife. It had a very unusual blade. 4, the storekeeper testified in court that he had never seen another one like it in his stock. 5, about 8:45, the boy met up with 3 of his friends in front of a diner. Am I correct so far?
You are so far.
Damn right he is. Now listen to this, gentleman. He knows what he's talking about.
They hung around and talked for about an hour, and he left them about 9:45. Now, during this time, all 3 of them saw the knife. 6, in court, all 3 of them identified the death weapon as the knife. 7, the boy then went home at around 10 o'clock. Now, this is where the stories offered by the boy and the state begin to diverge slightly. He claims that he went to, at about 11 o'clock, 11:30, he went to one of those all-night movies and stayed out until about 3:15, where he came home and found his father dead and himself arrested. Now, what happened to the knife? Well, this is the imaginative and creative little fable the boy concocted. He claims that it fell through a hole in his pocket sometime between 11:30 and 3:15, and that he never saw it again. Gentlemen, this is a tale. I think it's quite clear the boy never went to the movies that night. He couldn't remember a single name of any of the movies he saw. Saw him go in or out of the apartment. No one saw him go in or out of the theater that night. What happened was this. The boy stayed home, had another fight with his father, stabbed him to death in the chest, and then fled the scene, but not before wiping the knife clean of fingerprints. May I see that, please?
Yeah, carefully. It's sharp.
Thank you. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Are you trying to tell me that it really fell through a hole in the boy's pocket and that someone picked it up off the street, took it to the boy's house, stabbed the father to death with a knife just to be amusing?
No. I'm saying that it's possible that the boy lost the knife, and that it's also possible that someone else stabbed the father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Look at that knife. I've never seen one like it, neither had the storekeeper who sold it to him. aren't you asking us to accept an incredible coincidence?
I'm not asking anybody to accept it. I'm just saying that it's possible.
Oh, and I'm saying it's not possible.
Oh, no?
Okay, you really can't have a...
Wait, stop.
Same knife.
Where did you get that knife?
Last night I was out walking and thinking about this case. I ended up in the boy's neighborhood. That knife came from a little pawn shop about 3 blocks from his house. It cost me $6.
It's against the law to buy or sell switchblade knives.
That's right. I broke the law.
All right, you pulled a really slick trick here, supposing you tell me what it proves. Maybe there's 10 knives like that out there, so what?
Maybe there are.
So what does it mean? It's like the same type of knife. Is that like the Discovery of the Ages or something?
It would still be an incredible coincidence for someone to have stabbed Safasa with the same kind of knife.
You're right. He's right.
The odds are 1,000,000 to 1.
But it's possible.
But not probable.
All right, gentlemen, the show's over. Let's sit back down to our seats. Take our seats.
It's interesting that he'd find a knife exactly like the one the boy bought.
Interesting. You think it proves anything?
Well, no, I was just...
Interesting. Why'd the punk buy the knife in the first place?
Well, he claims that he bought it to give to...
I know. He claims he bought it and he was going to give it to his friend the next day. Because he dropped his friend's knife on the pavement and broke it.
Baloney.
Well, the friend testified that the boy did break his knife.
Yeah, but what? 3 weeks before, right? So tell me, why did this fine, upstanding lad decide to buy the knife this particular night? 30 minutes after his father smacks him around and 3.5 hours before he finds it shoved up to here in his father's chest.
Well, he was going to give it to his friend. He just, needed to use it for a minute.
Good one.
If the boy bought the knife with the intent to use to kill his father, why would he have shown it to a couple of his friends only a couple of hours before the murder?
Now listen, that's all just talk. The boy lied and you know it.
Did he lie? Do you think he lied?
That's a stupid question. Sure, he lied.
How about you? What do you think?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied.
Do you think he lied?
I suppose maybe...
Maybe? Wait a second. What are you, this kid's lawyer now or something? Who are you to come in here and cross-examine us?
Isn't this that was supposed to happen in a jury room?
Listen, there's still 11 of us in here that know this kid is guilty.
Yeah, what do you think you're going to accomplish? You're not going to change anybody's mind. So if you want to go and be stubborn and hang this jury, go right ahead. The kid will be tried again and found guilty sure as he was born.
Well, you're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We could be here all night.
Oh, it's only one night. A boy may die.
Brother, anybody got a deck of cards?
Oh, I don't think you ought to make a joke about this.
What would you like me to do?
Look, I don't see what all this knife business has to do with anything, all right? Somebody saw the kid stick the knife into his father. What more do we need? Look, I've got 3 in my garages going to pot while we're wasting time in here. Let's just get this done and get out of here.
The knife was very important to the district attorney. Come on. He spent one whole morning.
Well, what the hell does he know? It was just some sort of 16th assistant or something.
All right. Let's get on with it. We're getting nowhere with these side arguments. What about it? What are we going to do? What do you want to do?
You're the only one.
All right, I have a proposition for you. I want to call for a vote, and I'd like the vote to be by secret written ballot. I'll abstain from the vote. And after those 11 votes go back, if they're all for guilty, I won't stand in the way. We'll take a guilty verdict into the judge. But if even one of those votes comes back for not guilty, then we stay here and we talk this thing out. Well, that's all I've got. If you want to try it, I'm ready.
Well, finally. He's acting like a reasonable man.
Check, I'll buy that.
Sounds fair to me.
do it.
Anyone disagree? Okay. Everyone got pencils, sharpened, all that? Here, pass these down. Pass them back when you're done, gentlemen. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. 10. Come on. There's still one missing.
Sorry.
11. All right, mix these up a little bit. And let's do this. Guilty. 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 Guilty, not how it's spelled. Guilty. Guilty. Pretty sure that says guilty. Guilty. Not guilty. Oh, guilty.
Well, what do you know about that, huh?
Another chap flips his friggin' way.
All right, I want to know who it was. All right, who was it? Which one of you was it?
This was supposed to be a secret ballot. We agreed on.
Oh, don't give me that.
There are no secrets in a jury room. I know who it was. Brother, you were really something to come in here and you vote guilty like the rest of us. And then this golden-voiced preacher over here starts telling stories and tearing your little heart out about how some punk kid can't help but become a murderer. And you change your vote. That isn't the most sickening. Why just toss a quarter in his collection box?
That's enough. You
All
can't
right.
talk to me
All
like
right, stop.
No, what gives
Stop.
him the right to shout at me?
Just calm down.
See him? Who does he
Sit
think
down.
he is?
He's just very excitable. Don't worry.
Excitable? You bet I'm excitable. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair here where he belongs. And this guy comes in here telling fairy tales and you guys are starting to listen.
Take it easy.
Take it easy? You want to see a proven murderer back out on the streets? Here, why don't we just give him his knife back and make it easier for him?
All right, hold down the yelling. Who has something, I don't know, constructive to say? Anyone?
Pardon, but I have always thought that in this country, a man is entitled to his unpopular opinion.
Let's get back to the real subject. What made you change your vote?
It's none of your business.
He didn't change his vote. I did. Would you like me to tell you why?
No, I would not.
Well, I'd like to make it clear anyway.
Oh, do we have to listen to this?
Look, pal, the man wants to talk. Let him talk.
Thank you. Now, this gentleman here has been standing alone against us. He doesn't say the boy is not guilty. He's just not sure. It's very difficult to stand alone against the ridicule of others. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. I respect his motives. Now, the boy on trial is probably guilty. But I want to hear more. For the time being, the vote is 10-2, and I submit to you that we should... Hey, where are you going? You have no right to walk out. I'm speaking here. My goodness.
He's never going to hear you.
Totally uncivil.
Let's go ahead and sit down.
Uncivil, I say.
Well, if the story's over, maybe we can get on with things.
No, there's one gentleman in the bathroom, and we need to wait for him. Let's take a 5-minute break, gentlemen.
Looks like we're really hung up here, huh? Yeah. I mean, that thing with the old man, that was pretty unexpected, yeah. You know, I wish I knew a way we could break things up. You know, in the ad agency, I told you I was in marketing, right? Yes. Well, anyways, there's some pretty strange people there. Well, not really strange, they just have a peculiar way of expressing themselves. I imagine it's the same way in your business. What is it you do?
I am a watchmaker.
Really? Huh. Well, the finest watchmakers come from Europe, I imagine. Well, anyhow, you get to a point like this in the meeting. I tell you what, it kills me. It's the weirdest thing. But there's always someone that has an idea, and then they'll precede the idea with some sort of phrase. Like some account exec will say, well, here's an idea. Let's run it up the flagpole and see who salutes it. Or let's put it on the bus and see if it gets out on Wall Street. I tell you what, it's idiotic, but it's funny.
I understood none of that.
Hey, bud. Listen, I got a little excited back there. You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty. But look, I'm just glad you're not one of those guys that lets those emotional appeals get to him.
Say, you a salesman?
No, I'm an architect.
You know what a soft sell is?
No.
You're pretty good at it. You know, I got different techniques. Jokes, drinks, knock 'em on the rears. I made $27,000 last year selling marmalade. That ain't bad considering marmalade. What are you getting out of it? Kicks? The boy's guilty, pal. So why don't we go home before we all get sore throats?
Well, what's the difference if you get a sore throat here or at the ball game?
No difference, pal. No difference at all.
Nice bunch of guys, huh?
I guess they're about the same as any.
You know that loud, heavy-set guy that was saying all the stuff about his kid? The way he was talking, that was embarrassing. What a murderous day. You think we'll be here much longer?
I don't know.
He's guilty for sure. Not a doubt in the whole world. Should have been done by now. Listen, I don't care though, it beats working. You really think he's innocent?
I don't know. It's possible.
Look, I don't know you, but I bet you've never been wronger in your life. Might as well just give it up, just wasting your time.
Suppose it was you that was on trial.
Well, I don't do a whole lot of supposing. I'm just a working man. My boss does my supposing for me. I got one for you. Suppose you talk us all out of this, and the kid really did knife his father.
All right, gentlemen, let's take our seats. Break's over.
Oh, boy. Looks like we'll be here for dinner.
All right, let's get down to business. Who wants to start us off?
Well,
I
was
think it
gonna
might be profitable. Oh,
Pardon me,
sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and it's probably a small point, but anyway, the boy had a motive for the killing, you know, with the beatings and all. So, if he didn't do it, who else did it? Who else had the motive? That's my point. You don't just go around killing people if you don't have a motive, unless you're just plain nuts, right?
Well, my understanding is that we're here to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. Whoever else might have had a motive, that's a job for the police to determine.
Very true, but we can't help but let the only motive we know of creep into our thoughts now, can we? Just as we can't help but think of who else might have had a motive. This gentleman has asked a very reasonable question. Someone killed the man. If it wasn't the boy, then who?
Modulewski.
Hey! You're talking about the man I love!
You know it.
If you haven't got anything to offer besides jokes, I suggest you listen.
Okay. Just letting off some steam, all right? Go ahead.
Well, maybe you can answer this. Who else might have killed the man?
Well, I don't know. Look, the father wasn't exactly a model citizen. The boy's attorney outlined it in his closing arguments. He was in prison once. He was a compulsive gambler and a pretty consistent loser. He was known to hang around neighborhood bars and get into fistfights, usually after a few drinks, and those fights usually over a woman. Look, he was a rough, cruel, primitive kind of man that never held a job for more than 6 months. So who else might have had a motive? Here's a couple of people. Maybe one of the men that he was in prison with. Or maybe a bookmaker that he owed money to. Or maybe a man he'd beat up or a woman he'd picked up. Or any of the other rough characters that he was known to hang out with.
That isn't the biggest load of crap I ever heard. Look, we all know that the kid's father was garbage, all right? He was garbage, but what does that have to do with anything?
I didn't bring it up. I was asked a question, and I gave my answer.
That gentleman asked a direct question.
Oh, I see. So everyone's a lawyer now, right? So why don't you tell me this? The boy, the old man who lived there, heard the boy shout out, "I'm going to kill you." A split second later, he hears the body hit the floor. And then he sees the boy running down the stairs and away from the house. I mean, what does that mean to you?
I've been wondering how well the old man could have heard the boy say that through the ceiling of the apartment.
He didn't hear him through the ceiling. His window was open and so was the one upstairs. It was a hot night.
Look,
remember?
It was a different apartment. It's not easy to identify a voice from another apartment, especially one that's a shouting voice.
He identified it in court. I mean, he picked the boy's voice out of 5 other voices blindfolded.
Sure, because that was an ambitious district attorney just putting on a show for everybody.
It's a good show.
Look, the old man knows the boy's voice very well. They've lived in the same building for years. But to identify it clearly from the apartment below, isn't it possible that he was wrong? Isn't it possible that he thought the boy was upstairs and that the voice that he heard, he thought was the boy's voice?
I think that's a bit far-fetched.
You can say that again. Look, the old man heard the father's body hit the floor, and then 15 seconds later, he saw the boy running out of the building. He saw the boy.
Check. And don't forget the woman across the street. She looked right through the open window and saw the boy stab his father. I mean, what else do you want?
I don't know. Something's still not right.
How do you like him? It's like talking into a dead phone.
Look, the woman saw the murder through the windows of the elevated train. Now, there were 6 cars in the train. She saw it through the last 2. She remembered the most significant details. I don't see how you can argue with that.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you got to say about that, huh?
I don't know. Something's not right.
Well, why don't you take a few moments and think about it then? Let me see your tablet.
I wonder if anyone knows how long it takes an elevated train to pass. Hey, what are you doing down here? You playing tic-tac-toe? What? Look, this isn't a game.
Wait a minute! Who do you think you are?
All right, sit down.
I had a motion to just belt him one.
I don't want any violence in
You
here.
see that?
Just please.
The nerve!
Come on,
The
come on,
absolute
come on. It's
nerve!
not worth getting upset over. Just let
Calm
it
down.
This isn't a game. Who do you think he's messing with here?
Down. It's over. Sit down.
What's over? I want an apology.
All right, loudmouth. He apologizes. Now shut up and let's hear what he's got to say.
Thank you. So as I was saying, does anyone here know how long it takes an elevated train traveling at medium speed to pass a given point?
What does that have to do with anything?
Come on, take a guess.
I'm sure I would have no idea.
How long do you think?
10, 12 seconds, maybe?
What are you getting at here?
That sounds about right. Anybody else?
No, that sounds right to me.
Come on, what's with
Okay.
the guessing game
How
here?
about you? What do you think?
10 seconds approximately.
All right, let's say 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. It takes 10 seconds for a 6-car L train traveling at medium speed to pass a given point. Let's say that given point is the open window of the bedroom where the murder took place. Now, the train tracks are so close that you can almost reach out and touch them, right?
Right.
So let me ask you this. Has anybody here ever lived alongside an L track?
Well, I just finished painting an apartment that overlooked an L line. I'm a house painter, you know. And I was there 3 days.
And what was it like?
What do you mean?
Was it noisy?
Yeah, brother, yeah, it was noisy. But, you know, we're like bulls in a china shop anyhow.
Well, I lived in a second-floor apartment that was right alongside the L line once. And when the windows open and that train comes by, it is so loud that you can hardly hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Will you get to your point?
I will. Let's take 2 pieces of testimony and see if we can put them together. First, the old man downstairs says he heard someone yell, "I'm going to kill you," and a split second later heard the body hit the floor, right? 1 second.
That's right.
Okay, second. The woman across the street, she said she looked out the window and saw the killing take place through the last 2 cars of the elevated train, right? The last 2 cars.
All right, will you get to a point?
Now, we agreed that it takes 10 seconds for the train to pass the window. That means we can assume, since the woman saw the killing through the window, that the body hit the floor just as the train was going by. Therefore, the train would have been roaring past the window for a full 10 seconds before the body hit the floor. The old man, by his testimony, would have had to hear, "I'm going to kill you," body hit the floor with the L train roaring past his nose. He couldn't have heard it.
That's idiotic. Of course he heard it.
Do you think he could have heard it?
He said he heard the boy shout it out. That's good enough for me.
If he heard anything, he would have been able to identify it.
You're talking about a matter of seconds here. Nothing could be that accurate.
I think that testimony that could put a boy in the electric chair must be that accurate.
No, I don't think he could have heard it.
No, I don't think so. With
What are
the
you guys
elements
talking
and all.
about?
Well, I mean, it stands to reason.
You're crazy. I mean, why would he lie? What does he have to gain?
Attention, maybe?
Oh, and you keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you sue one in the newspaper? They pay $3.
Don't talk to him like that. Guy that talks like that to an old man ought to really get stepped on, you
Get your
know?
hands off of me.
Gentlemen.
You ought to have some respect, mister. You talk to him like that again, I'm going to lay you out. Go ahead. Say anything you like. Nobody's going to stop you. Why do you think the man might lie?
Well, it's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of his jacket was split under the arm. Did you notice it? Huh. Imagine to come into court dressed looking like that. Huh. This is an old man with a torn jacket who walked so very slowly to the witness stand. He was dragging his left leg, trying to hide it because he was ashamed. I believe I know this man better than anyone here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant old man who's been nothing his entire life. No recognition, never had his name in the newspaper. Nobody knows him. Nobody quotes him. Nobody seeks his advice. After 75 years, it's a sad thing to be nothing. A man like this needs to be recognized, needs to be listened to, needs to be quoted at least once. This proceeding here, gentlemen, is very important. It would be so difficult for him to recede into the background when he finally had a chance to be...
Now wait a minute!
Jeez.
Are you trying to tell us that he would lie just to be important once?
No. He wouldn't intentionally lie, but perhaps he'd make himself believe that he actually did hear those words and recognize the boy's face.
Bravo! That is the most fantastic story I ever heard. How can you make up something like that, huh? Tell me, what the hell do you know about it?
Gentlemen, let me remind you again that this case is built on a logical and reasonable progression of facts. Let's try to keep it there, shall we?
Facts may be colored by the personalities of the people who present them.
Anybody want a cough drop?
Yeah, I'll take one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say what you will, I still don't see how anyone can say the boy's not guilty.
Well, here's something else that I'd like. Clearly need a cough drop that I'd like to bring up. So I think we've proven that the old man couldn't have heard the boy yell those words, "I'm going to kill you." But supposing that he actually...
Wait a second. Prove it? You didn't prove a damn thing.
But supposing that he actually did hear those words. How many times have any of us used that phrase? "Oh, darling, I could kill you for that. Junior, you better do your homework or I'm going to kill you. Come on, Rocky, kill him." We use that phrase all the time, but none of us actually means that we're going to kill somebody.
What are you trying to distort?
The phrase was, "I'm going to kill you." And the boy shouted it at the top of his lungs. I mean, when somebody says something like that the way he said it, they mean it.
Well, gee, I don't know. I remember I was arguing with a guy I worked next to at the bank a couple of weeks ago. So he called me an idiot. And so then I yelled at him.
They're trying to make you believe things in here that aren't so. The boy said, "I'm going to kill you," and then he killed him.
Do you really think the boy would yell a thing like that out for the entire neighborhood to hear? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Bright? That's funny. He ain't bright. He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
I think you mean he doesn't even speak English well.
Mr. Foreman,
Yeah.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
What? Are you kidding me?
You heard me.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, gentlemen. The vote is now 9-3 in favor of guilty.
Oh, if that isn't the living end. What are you basing it off of? Stories this guy made up? Come on, he ought to be writing for Amazing Detective Monthly. He'd make a fortune. Come on, bud. There are facts staring you right in the face. Every single one says this kid killed his old man. For crying out loud. His own lawyer didn't even think he stood a chance. You could see it right from the beginning. His own lawyer. This kid deserves the chair.
Does he? There's been plenty of times that people have been convicted of murder and executed, and someone comes along later and admits to the crime. Sometimes the facts that are staring you in the face are just wrong.
I'm talking to him, not to you. How do you like this guy? Okay, fine. The kid had a lawyer, right? The lawyer presented his case, not you. How come you've got so much to say?
His lawyer was court appointed.
What does that mean?
Well, it can mean a lot of things. It could mean he didn't want to be assigned to the case. It could mean he resented being assigned to the case. It could mean a lot of different things. Look, it's the kind of case that brings him no glory, no money. It's not the kind of case that a young attorney would want to be assigned to. He'd have to believe in his client so deeply to even try to get him not convicted. And as you pointed out, he obviously didn't.
Sure he didn't. Who the heck could? Come on, guys, look at the time.
Pardon, I've made some notes here.
Oh, great. Notes yet.
Please, I would like to say something. I have been listening very closely, and this man has some very good points to make. From what was presented at the trial, the boy looks guilty. But perhaps, if we go deeper...
Oh, come on, will ya?
There's a question I would like to ask. Now, we assume that the boy committed murder, that he stabbed his father in the chest and that he ran away. This happened at 12:10. But now how was the boy caught? He came home at 3 o'clock or so and was captured by 2 detectives in the hallway of his house. This is my question. Why would the boy go home 3 hours later? Wouldn't he be afraid of being caught?
Look, he had to go home and get rid of the knife. It's not nice to leave knives sticking around in people's chests.
Yeah, especially relatives.
I don't see anything funny about this. Look, he knew that there were people who could identify the knife, so he had to go back before the police did.
But if the boy knew that the knife could be identified, then why did he leave it there in the first place?
Well, I think we can assume that after he killed his father, he ran off in a panic. And then later, when he calmed down, he decided to go back for the knife.
But this then depends on how you define the word panic. He was calm enough to be sure that the knife had no fingerprints. So where did the panic start and where did it end?
Look, you can forget all that other stuff. He had to go home and get rid of the knife.
3 hours later?
Sure, 3 hours later.
No. I just don't think that if I had been the killer, I would have gone home 3 hours later. I would have been afraid that the police would be there. No, I would have stayed away. Knife or no knife.
Look, you voted guilty, didn't you? Whose side are you on, anyway?
I don't believe I need to be loyal to one side or the other. I am simply asking questions.
Look, this is just off the top of my head, but if I were the boy and I'd done the stabbing, I'd go back for the knife. I mean, he probably thought no one saw him stab his father or the body for that matter. It was the middle of the night, after all. He probably thought no one would see the body until the next morning.
Pardon, but this is my whole point. The woman across the street testified that the moment after the killing, that is, the moment after the L train passed by, that she screamed and then went to telephone the police. Now, the boy certainly would have heard that scream and known that someone had seen something. No, I just don't think that he would go back.
Two possibilities. One, perhaps he didn't hear the scream. Perhaps it wasn't very loud. Two, even if he did hear the scream, it's possible that he didn't connect it with his own act. Remember, he lived in a neighborhood where screams are fairly commonplace.
Right. There's your answer.
Maybe. Maybe the boy did stab his father. Didn't hear the woman scream across the street. Did leave his knife because he left in a panic. Calmed down 3 hours later and came back, risking being caught by the police. Maybe all those things are true. But maybe they're not. I think we have doubt to wonder whether or not the boy was in the apartment at all during the time of the murder.
Doubt? Come on. Doubt? What the hell do you mean, doubt? What the hell are you even talking about? Did or didn't the old man see the boy running out of the building? I'm telling you, this guy down here, he's changing the facts. You, yeah, Mr. Grammer here. You, did or didn't the old man see the boy running out of the building at 12:10? Well, did or didn't he?
He says he did.
Ah, says he did, right? Terrific. Well, I got another one for you then. Did or didn't the woman see the kid stick the knife in his father? Yeah, well, she said she did, right? You're making it out like it don't matter what people say. What you want to believe, you believe. What you don't want to believe, you don't believe. What the hell kind of way is that? What do you think they get on the witness stands for in the first place? Their health or something? I'm telling you, man, the facts are being changed in here. Witnesses are being doubted. There's no damn reason for it.
Witnesses can make mistakes.
Oh, sure. When you want them to, they can. You know what I mean?
All right, enough with the yelling
I
already.
keep saying that. Maybe what we need in here is some more yelling. Get all these guys in here going off every which way. Didn't hear the scream. Didn't hear the scream. What the hell's the difference? Those are just stupid little points and they don't mean nothing. You're forgetting the important stuff here.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to call for another
It's
vote.
like everyone's
There's another vote called
Mr.
for.
Foreman, I'm talking here!
We heard you plenty. sit the hell down. We're gonna
I
vote.
don't sit down when I'm damn good and ready.
Seats over there.
What are we gonna get out of voting again?
The man asked, so we're gonna vote.
It's such a waste of time.
It only takes a second.
All right. The quickest way to do this is to see who's voting not guilty. Everyone okay? Ready to vote? Great. All those voting not guilty, raise your hand. It's the same. 1, 2, 3 not guilties, 9 guilties.
So now where are we? I'm telling you guys, we can yakety yak until next Tuesday here. Where's it getting us?
Please. I would like to change my vote to not guilty.
You what?
Brother!
What is wrong with you? Look, this kid is guilty. You gotta pay attention to the facts. Are we going crazy in here or something?
Paying attention to the facts.
Tell him, will you? You're gonna be a damn joke in here.
The vote is 8-4 in favor of guilt.
Everybody's heart's starting to bleed for this punk kid, like the president declared it Love Your Underprivileged Brother Week or something. I want you to tell me why you changed your vote. Come on, give me reason.
I don't have to defend my decision to you. I have a reasonable doubt in my mind.
A reasonable doubt? Those are just words. Here, look at this. The boy that you just decided was not guilty was seen ramming this in his father's chest. Take a close look, Mr. Reasonable Doubt.
That's not the knife, don't you remember?
That's the knife over there.
Brilliant, just brilliant.
I am telling you guys, this is the craziest. This guy down here is pulling stories out of thin air. What are we supposed to believe? I'm telling you, if he was sitting ringside at the Dempsey Furpo fight, he'd be trying to tell us Furpo won. Okay, let's take the old man. Are we supposed to believe that he didn't run to the door and see the kid tearing down the stairs 15 seconds after the killing? I mean, what's the point of the whole
wait a
thing?
minute, wait a minute.
Oh, and the Milwaukee Rooter is heard from. And pop-ups are falling for base hits wherever we look. I tell you.
Anyway, did the old man actually say that he ran to the door?
Ran? Walked? What's the difference? He got there.
No, he said he ran. I'm pretty sure he did.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but think about it. I don't know how he could run.
The old man said that he went from his bedroom to the front door. What difference does it make?
Where's the bedroom?
Down the hallway. What, don't you remember that? I thought you remembered everything, smartass.
No, I don't. Mr. Foreman, I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment, please.
Why don't you have him run the whole trial over so you can get everything straight?
Mr. Foreman?
I heard you. I heard you. Excuse me.
Foreman, I mean, what are we going to get from this? I mean, how come you're the only one that ever wants to see
No.
exhibits in here all the time?
I want to see this one too.
And I want to stop wasting time.
Look, if we're going to go into all that business about where the body was found, I don't see that.
No, I don't want to go into that unless somebody else does. What I want to see is if a very old man who drags one leg behind him because he had a stroke last year can get from his bed to his front door in 15
He
seconds.
said 20 seconds.
He said 15 seconds.
Don't be distorting, he said 20.
He said 15.
15.
How would he do it 15 seconds? And he can't tell a thing like that.
Yeah, he said 15 seconds. He was very positive about it.
He was an old man. I mean, half the time he was confused. How would an old guy like that be positive about anything?
Look, I still don't see what the point of all this is. The man said he went from from his bedroom to the front door. That should be it.
Well, let's see if the details bear him out. The old man said he was lying in bed, and upstairs he heard a body hit the floor, then heard footsteps running to the front door, heard the upstairs front door open and footsteps running down the front stairs. Now, if the killer had begun running immediately as soon as the
wait a
body
second.
hit...
Maybe he didn't.
The old man says he did.
You know, you ought to be down in Atlantic City at the Hair Splitters Convention.
Listen, baseball, we've all had about enough of your smart-ass remarks.
My friend, for your $3 a day, you need to listen to everything.
All right. So you got this damn thing in here. So what up now?
Okay, so this is the diagram of the apartment. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and has exactly the same floor plan. Now, so here's the L trains running across outside. This is a bedroom, bathroom, living room, kitchen, the hallway that runs the length of the apartment, the front door, and the stairs going outside. Now, the old man says he was asleep in his bed under the window in this room. He would have had to cross the room, go down the hallway, open the door, just in time to see the boy running down the stairs. Am I right?
That's the story for the 19th time.
Okay, so from his bed to the door is 12 feet. The length of the hallway is 43 foot 6 inches. So he would have had to get up out of bed, cross the room 12 feet, open the door, go down the hall 43 foot 6 inches, open the front door.
That is correct.
All in 15 seconds. Do you think he could have done it?
He said he did.
Sure he could have done it.
He could only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness stand.
You make it sound like a long walk. It wasn't.
For an old man who had a stroke, it's a very long walk.
So what the hell are you doing over there now?
I'd like to try this thing. I'd like to see if...
Try it? Why didn't the attorney do it if it was so important?
Oh, well, maybe he didn't think of it.
What do you mean, didn't think of it? What, do you think he was an idiot or something? It's an obvious thing.
Oh, of course. Did you think of it?
Well, pal, it don't matter whether I thought of it or not, huh?
All right.
Look, he didn't bring it up because he knew it would hurt his case, right? Is that good enough for you?
All right. What were you saying?
Maybe he didn't bring it up because it would have meant bullying and badgering an old man in the witness stand. Something that a jury wouldn't take very well to, and most lawyers would avoid that if possible.
So what kind of bum is he then?
Buddy, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. Now, these two chairs are the bed in the bedroom. I'm going to pace off this way 12 feet, and that will be where the front door to the apartment is.
You can't
The front door
kind of
to the
thing.
bedroom. Okay, that's 12 feet. Here, I'll use this chair here. So this is the door to the bedroom. Now, I'll pace down to that wall and back. The hallway length was a little over 43 feet.
Is the room big enough?
This is insane. You get a kick out of wasting our time like this?
Well, the old man said that it would only take 15 seconds. I think we can spare that.
That's right.
38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Okay, here, someone else hand me another chair. Here, thank you. So this is then the front door to the apartment. By the testimony, it was locked with a chain. Now, who's got a watch with a second hand on it?
I have.
Oh, okay. Now, when you want me to start, stamp your foot, and that'll be the body hitting the floor. And then time me from there.
Anyone for charades?
I have never seen anything this ridiculous in my entire life.
Let him do it. No, might as well get it over with.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I want to wait till the second hand reaches 60.
Oh, come on.
And they're off.
Here we go, really.
Bedroom door.
Oh, come on, step on it. He walked twice that fast.
This is, I think, even more slowly than he walked in the courtroom.
Think faster.
If you want me to go faster,
Yeah,
I will.
I want you to go faster. Come on, let's just get this kid stuff over with, can we?
You're gonna need a new shoe if you keep this up.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I mean, wow.
Lock, door, stop.
Right.
How much time?
15, 20, 25, 30. 42 seconds, exactly.
That makes a lot more sense.
42 seconds?
You kidding?
Here's what I think happened. The old man heard the boy and the father having their argument earlier in the evening. Then, later on at night, when he was in bed, he heard the body hit the floor. He heard the woman scream across the street, got up as quickly as he could, but was only able to get to the door in time to hear footsteps going down the stairs, and assumed it was the boy.
Assumed?
I think that's possible.
Yeah,
very possible.
Listen to me, people. Look, I've seen my share of dishonesty in my day, but this little escapade here, this takes the cake. You come in here with your sanctimonious talk about slum kids and injustice, and start making up these wild stories, and you're getting through to half of these old ladies. Well, you're not getting through to me. I've had enough. What's the matter with you people? Every one of you know this boy is guilty. He's got the bird. We're letting him slip through our fingers.
Letting him slip through our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you bet I would.
I feel sorry for
Don't you start
Ever
with me.
since you've come in here, you've been behaving like a self-appointed public avenger.
You shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of any of the facts.
Shut the hell up!
You're a sadist.
You son of a bitch!
Hey,
I'll kill him! Let go of me, damn it!
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Anything wrong, John?
Oh, jeez. Just a disagreement. Yeah. It might be a really good time to break for dinner, actually.
All right, gentlemen, right up this way, turn to the right, we'll get out of there. Thank you.
What the hell are you staring at?
Looks like it's even harder.
Okay, gentlemen, just like before, need anything, just knock on the door. It's right there for you.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose somebody has to start things off.
Oh, it's getting late. I wonder if they let us go home if we can't finish tonight. I mean, I've got a boy at home with the mumps, and he's out to here. The wife says he looks like Khrushchev.
Pardon? This fighting before dinner? This is not why we are here, to fight. We have a responsibility. This is one of the things that I have always thought is remarkable about democracy, that we are, what's the word? That we are notified by the mail to come down to this place and to decide on the guilt or the innocence of a man we have never heard of before. We have nothing to gain or lose by this verdict. This is one of the reasons we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Well, now look, if no one else has an idea, I have a real cutie. Actually, I just thought of it. Anyhow, let me throw it out on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up.
See if the cat licks it up. Here, kitty, kitty, meow.
It wasn't much of an idea anyways.
See how dark it's getting? We are definitely going to have a storm. And it's still so hot. Pardon me, but don't you sweat?
No, I don't.
Listen, I was wondering if maybe we shouldn't take another vote.
Excellent idea. Maybe we can follow this one up with dancing and refreshments.
Mr. Foreman?
It's okay with me. Anyone doesn't want to vote?
I say we ought to have an open ballot. Call out our votes. We know where everybody stands.
Sounds fair. Anyone object?
That's fine.
No.
All right. The vote last time before dinner was 8-4 in favor of guilty. I'll call out your jury numbers as we go around. I vote guilty. Juror number 2.
Not guilty.
Juror number 3.
Guilty.
Juror number 4.
Guilty.
Juror number 5.
Not guilty.
Number 6. Sir?
Not guilty.
Juror number 7.
Guilty.
Number 8.
Not guilty.
Number 9.
Not guilty.
Juror number 10.
The kid is guilty.
Juror number 11.
Not guilty.
And juror number 12.
Guilty.
It's tied, gentlemen, 6-6.
And we're going extra innings here.
6-6. Some of you people in here have lost your minds. A kid like that?
The kind of boy he is should have nothing to do with it. The facts are supposed to determine the case.
Facts. I'm tired of facts. I've had it up to here with the facts. You can twist them around any way you want, you know what I mean?
That's precisely the point that this gentleman has been making. Except you keep yelling and screaming at the top of your lungs. That man, if I was just a little younger.
Yeah, well, you're not, are you?
It's getting hot in here, isn't it?
Would you like some Vasa?
No, thank you. I've got some.
Oh, it's gonna rain.
No. How'd you figure that out, Blue Eyes? Tell me, how come you switched?
Well, just seemed to me.
You haven't got a leg to stand on. You know that, right?
I don't feel that way. There's a lot of details that never came
Oh, well, details. Forget the details. You're just letting yourself get bulldozed by a bunch of intellectuals.
Now that's not so.
No. You're just like everyone else, pal. You think too much, you get mixed up. Know what I mean?
Now listen, I don't think you have any right to... Loud now.
Boy, look at it start to come down. Oh, wow, what a storm. You know, this reminds me of that storm we had last November something, right in the middle of the game too. I mean, there we were. It was 7-6, right? We're behind. We're moving the ball real well off tackle. And I've got this kid Slattery, this real ox of a kid, right? And boy, I wish I had another one. Guess I forgot to tell you. I'm the assistant head football coach at John Adams High School. It's in Queens. Go Spartans. So anyway, so there we are. We're moving the ball real well, and their line's starting to come apart. And all of a sudden, it starts coming down cats and dogs, just like this. In 2 minutes, it was mud, practically up to your ass. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. I could have bawled. We were so close. But I did meet my wife at that game. She was wearing a white blouse that day. Boy, oh boy.
Say, what do you say we try this fan again, huh? It must have been connected to the lights!
Finally.
Nice. Very nice. Some rain, huh?
Yes.
What do you think of this thing? It's even Steven.
No kidding.
Kind of crazy, don't you think?
Yes.
Now listen, that business before, you know, or what's his name, baited me. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, you know. I mean, everybody in here knows I'm an excitable guy. Who is he to be calling me a public avenger and a sadist and all that? Any one of these men in here with their head on straight would have lost their mind over that, wouldn't they? I mean, he was just trying to bait me on purpose.
He did an excellent job.
Right, so maybe he did. I mean, I can't help it. That's just the way I am. I mean, I'm passionate about these things. But listen, I can promise you one thing. I'm sincere.
Fine. We all are. Excuse me.
Damnedest thing, isn't it? 6-6, what a joke.
Well, what are we going to do about it? I mean, how do we break it up?
Look, those 6 morons in there, they're not going to change their minds, right?
Well, 5 of them have already changed their minds. There's no reason why they can't change it back again.
Oh, really? And how the hell's that going to happen, huh?
Just by using logic.
Logic.
No. Listen to this guy. I mean, he's the only one in here that knows what he's talking about.
No, you want to know my opinion?
Sure, go ahead.
I think we should just quit.
What?
Look, those idiots are acting like it's some kind of mission they're on now, all right? They're not going to change their mind, all right? We could be in here all night, all right? Let's go into the judge and declare us a hung jury. What am I supposed to waste my time over scum like this on trial?
That is the most ridiculous thing I've... You took an oath in court. You can't just quit.
Sure I can.
No, it's dishonest. Then just vote not guilty then.
Look, I vote guilty because I think the kid is guilty, all
you
right?
don't care what happens?
No, why the hell should I?
All right. Let's stop the arguing. It's not getting us anywhere.
What, I gave my honest opinion.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, and I suppose you don't think much of it, do you?
No, I don't.
You believe this guy?
But listen, I mean, a hung jury's not going to do anything. I mean, that's not what we're here for. I mean, they'll just get another jury and run a whole other trial. Look, we got to stick together here.
Hell, it don't matter, all right? A hung jury's what you're going to get, okay?
All right, gentlemen, let's get started again in here. Take your seats, please.
All right, you want to know what I think? I'll tell you what I think. We are getting nowhere in here, all right? I'm ready to walk into the court and declare us a hung jury. Let's see, what do you think? Come on, let's hear it.
I'd go for that too.
Good.
Let's take it into the judge and let the kid take his chances with 12 other guys.
No, the court won't go for that. We haven't been in here long enough.
Well, let's find out.
No, I am not for this.
Come on, guys. This kid wouldn't stand a chance with another jury, and you know it. Come on, we're hung. Let's just take it inside.
You still don't think there's any room for reasonable doubt?
No, I don't.
Pardon? Perhaps you don't fully understand the term reasonable doubt?
What do you mean? I don't understand it. Who the heck are you to talk to me like that?
Sure, 11.
How do you like this guy? I'm telling you, they're all alike. They come over to this country running for their lives, and before they can take a big breath, they're telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of this guy.
Wait. You're calling him arrogant just because he wasn't born here.
Please.
No, it's important.
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to call you arrogant because you were. How's that?
Listen here, shortstop. Nobody's gonna tell me what words I understand and what words I don't. Especially him. Because I'll knock his freaking Middle European head off!
Can we stop arguing for, I don't know, say 2 minutes? And stick to the subject here, gentlemen? Please?
Well, there's something that I'd like to bring up if you all don't mind. It's about how the boy, it's an important point for the prosecution too, about how the boy, after testifying that he was at the movies during the time of the murder, couldn't remember the names of the movies or the actors and actresses that played in them. This gentleman here has brought that point up several times.
That's right. It was the only alibi the boy offered, and he couldn't back it up with any details at all.
Well, putting yourself in the boy's place, would you be able to remember those kind of details after an unsettling experience like being slapped in the face by your father?
I think so, if there were any special details to remember. He couldn't remember the movies at the theater he named because he wasn't there that night.
Well, the police, according to their testimony, interrogated the boy in the kitchen of the apartment while the body of his father still was lying on the floor in the bedroom. Do you think you could have remembered those kind of details under such great emotional stress?
I do.
Under that kind of emotional stress?
Under great emotional stress, yes.
You remembered the movies in court.
Yeah, he remembered the movies in court. And he remembered the actors and actresses that played in them.
Yes, his lawyer took great pains to point that out. There were 3 months between the night of the murder and the day of the trial in which he had to memorize them. I'll take the testimony of the police officer who interrogated him right there that night when he couldn't remember a thing about any of the movies.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead.
Where were you last night?
I was home.
And the night before that?
Oh, come on, what is this?
No, it's all right. Last night, I went from court to my office where I stayed there until about 8:30, and then I went directly home to bed.
Okay, and how about the night before that?
Tuesday night was the night of the bridge tournament. I play bridge.
Okay, what about Monday night?
When you get him down to New Year's Eve 1950, let me know.
Monday night, my wife and I went to the movies.
Oh, and what picture did you see?
The Scarlet Circle. It's a very clever whodunit.
Okay, and was there a second feature?
Yes, the remarkable tell you in a second. The remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge. No, Bainbridge. The remarkable Mrs. Bainbridge.
Excuse me. I saw that one. It's the amazing Mrs. Bainbridge.
The amazing Mrs. Bainbridge. That's right.
Okay, and who starred in The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge?
Barbara Long, I think. Dark, very pretty girl. Barbara Long, Lang, Land, something like that.
And who else?
Well, it was a very inexpensive feature with a lot of unknown actors and actresses who had never...
And you weren't under any great emotional stress, were you?
No, I wasn't.
The point is made.
Yeah, right. Big point.
I think it is a big point.
What? Because he can't remember the name of some two-bit actress? I suppose that proves the kid was at the theater, huh?
No. But it indicates that no one can prove that he wasn't. Perhaps the boy went to the movies and forgot what he saw. It's possible. If this gentleman here can forget a few details, oh, it's perfectly normal for the boy. After all, being accused of murder isn't necessarily supposed to give him an infallible memory.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, blah, blah. You could talk until you're blue in the face and your tongue is dragging on the floor. The kid is guilty, period. Know what I mean, pal? Who's got those cough drops?
They're all gone, pal.
You know, there's something we're forgetting here that I was just thinking about, and it's that business that went on in court forever. I mean, it was with the psychiatrist and how they got all involved in the...
Are we starting with this psychiatry crap again? Filling people's heads with garbage like that? Look, I've got 3 of them keeping their cars in my garages. All 3 of them are nuts.
Listen, I'm trying to make a
Look,
point
I wouldn't
here,
give
so
you a
don't-
damn nickel for a psychiatrist's testimony, okay?
Look, can you let the man talk? After he's done, we can give you 5 minutes to talk about the uselessness of psychiatry.
Thank you. So what I was going to say was that the psychiatrist definitely stated that this boy had strong homicidal tendencies, that he was, what do you call it, capable of committing murder, he said. I mean, he talked about all those tests and ink blots and stuff, and he said that this kid was definitely the killer type. Am I right?
Check. And I seem to remember something about paranoid tendencies, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Whatever that is, he said that too. So let's not forget, we're talking about a kid who's like always had murder on his mind.
His unconscious mind.
Right, and no one else's.
Pardon.
Pardon. Why are you so damn polite?
For the same reason you're not. It was the way I was raised. Now, in discussing such a thing as murder potential, we should remember that many of us might be capable of committing murder, but few of us do. We impose controls upon ourselves to prevent it. So most that these psychiatric tests can tell us along these lines is this, that a particular person may commit murder in the future. That is all. They prove nothing.
Then why are they admitted into evidence?
They serve many uses, of course. In this case, I believe they added to the general impressions that the prosecution was trying to create. Perhaps we 12 men were to take the same psychiatric tests, one or two of us might be identified as having unconscious desires to kill. Hence the potentiality of carrying it out. But saying that a man has a potential to commit murder does not mean that he has committed murder.
But it could, right? If they said the kid was capable of killing, he could have killed, right?
Wasn't it you who just said, and I quote, "I wouldn't give you a damn nickel for any psychiatrist testimony"?
Just keep talking, smartass. Just keep talking.
What time is it?
Oh, it's 5 till 6. Ah, man, just look at that rain.
There goes your ball game.
Thanks.
Hey, can I see that knife for a second?
Well, gentlemen, it's still tied up 6-6. Who's got the next great idea?
I have. Let's wrap things up.
Well, no, why don't we give it another hour, go till 7?
Oh, okay by me.
There's something I'd like to say. Wow. It's been bothering me a little, and since we're all stuck. There was that whole business about the stab wound and how it was made. You know, the downward angle of it, you know?
Oh, don't tell me you're going to get into all that again. They went over it and over it and over it in court.
They did. But I don't go along with it. See, the boy was 5 feet, 7 inches tall, and the father 6'2". That's a difference of 7 inches. That's a very awkward thing to be stabbing down into the chest of someone that's more than half.
Give me
taller
that.
than you are.
You're not going to be satisfied until you see it again, so I'll demonstrate for you.
Okay.
Come on. Somebody stand up. Okay. Well, come down here where you can see. Now watch this, because I don't want to have to do it again. I'm 6-7 inches shorter than you, right?
That's right, maybe a little more.
All right, let it be more.
What's the matter with you?
It's not
Everybody
funny.
relax. Nobody's hurt, right?
No, nobody's hurt.
All right, if I was going to stab a guy taller than me, look at the angle. There it is, down and in. That's how I would stab him. That's how it was done. Now, prove me wrong.
Let me see that. Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
Wait a minute. Give me that.
No. Did you see?
Man, I hate these things. I grew up with them.
Have you seen him used in fights?
Too many. On my stoop, my backyard, the lot across the street. Switch knives came with the neighborhood where I lived. It's funny, I wasn't thinking about it before, but I guess you try to forget these kinds of things. You can't use this kind of knife in that way. You have to hold it like this to release the blade. To stab downwards, you'd have to change your grip. That doesn't work.
So then, how would you use it?
Underhanded. Well, except you want to have the safety off. Like this. Anyone who's ever handled a switch knife would never handle it any other way.
Well, everyone was pretty sure that the boy knew how to handle a switch knife, weren't they?
That's right.
So do you think that he would have made that kind of wound, the wound that killed his father?
With his experience with these kinds of things, No, I don't think he would. He'd go for him underhanded.
How do you know? Were you in the room when he murdered his father?
No, and neither was anyone else.
You're giving us a bunch of mumbo jumbo here, and I'm not buying it.
Look, I don't see how you can tell what kind of wound the boy would or would not have made simply because he knows how to handle a knife.
He's right. He's exactly right.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
What about you? What do you think?
Look, the woman across the street, she testified
Look.
that...
I'm gonna tell you all something. I'm getting sick of this whole thing already. All this yakking is getting us nowhere. I'm gonna break it up. I'm changing my vote to not guilty.
You're what?
You heard me. I've had enough.
That's no answer. You've had enough.
Listen, pal, just worry about yourself.
He's right. That is not an answer. What kind of a man are you? You have sat in here all day and voted guilty with the rest of these people because you have a pair of baseball tickets burning a hole in your pocket. And now you say you want to change your vote to not guilty because you're tired of all the talking here?
Now listen.
You have no right to play with a man's life like this. This is a terrible and ugly thing you do. Don't you care?
You can't talk to me like that.
I can talk to you like that. If you want to vote not guilty, then vote not guilty because you think the man is not guilty, not because you have had enough. And if you want to vote guilty, then vote that way. Or don't you have the guts to do what you think is right?
Now listen.
Guilty or not guilty?
I told you not guilty.
Fine.
Curse you, I don't have to.
You do have to. Say it. Fine.
I don't think he's guilty.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to call for another vote.
All right, gentlemen. You know what to do. Another vote's been called for. Let's take our seats. All right. I guess the quickest way has been a show of hands. So let's do that. All those voting not guilty, will you please raise your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All those voting guilty? 1, 2, 3. The vote is 9-3 in favor of not guilty.
Damn it, I don't understand you people. All these picky little points you keep bringing up, they don't mean nothing. How can you believe that kid's story? You. Yeah, you. Mr. Manners. Well, you're an intelligent man, right? What, you're not going to tell me you're not? You know the facts of life. You know what we're up against here. You know this kid. And now what? You listen to this guy down here? Spouting off about psychiatrist or something? I don't know what the hell his problem is. Maybe you ought to go see one. Look, men, let's talk facts here, okay? These people, they're born to lie. It's what they do. Right? It's who they are, and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. But they don't know what the hell the truth is. Just look at them. Right? They're different. They think different. They talk different. They act different. Come on, you know this. You know this. Oh, yeah, and they don't need a good excuse to kill anyone either. Come on. Gentlemen, everyone knows this. They get drunk on wine or something cheap like that. Oh, they're big drinkers, every damn single one. What's your problem? slamming the table like that. You guys see this though? Don't you see this about them? They're lazy. They're lazy as crap. They don't do a damn thing all day except sit around and get drunk. The next thing you know, bam! Someone's lying dead in the gutter. Well, we're not going to blame them, right? It's not their fault. It's who they are. It's in their nature. You know what I mean? They're violent. They're vicious. They're like animals. Look, human life don't mean the same to them as it does to us. Oh, where are you going? Huh? Well, hey, maybe while you're in there, you can clean out your ears. Maybe you'll hear something. Look, man, you got to listen to me. They sit around all day just boozing it up. Get fights all the time. Hey, if somebody gets killed, somebody gets killed. Don't matter to them. Family don't mean nothing to them. They breed like animals. Fathers, mothers, doesn't matter. There's just more and more and more and more of them. But look, there's a few things that are good about them. Maybe, look, I'd be the first one to say that. All right, I've even known a few that were okay, but look, that's the exception. All right, that's the rare exception.
Do you know you are a sick man?
Sick?
Yes.
Sick, you say?
Sick. Why don't you do us all a favor, would you? And just shut up.
Tell you what, old
and
man,
sit
why don't
down.
you just sit down and shut your damn mouth, all right? Call me, said, look at him, decrepit old man can barely move around. No, I'm saying my piece here, and every one of you is going to listen to every damn word I have to say.
Maybe if you just quiet it.
I will, like hell, quiet down! You idiots don't get this! There's not one of them! Do you hear me? Not one who's any good! Not one! I'm gonna lay it out for you bastards so you finally understand. You, Mr. Old Man there! Huh? You're so damn smart! Don't you understand what we're facing here? We're facing a danger. These people are multiplying. That boy on trial, his time, they're multiplying 5 times faster than we are. That's the number. Do you hear me? 5 times. And they hate us. And they hate everything about us. And they hate our way of life. What the hell are you looking at? Don't you understand? These are dangerous times. Look, and if we don't do something, if we don't smack them down every chance we get, gentlemen, they're going to own us. They are going to own us, and they're going to breed us out of existence.
You shut up!
Why don't you shut the hell up? Aren't you thinking, man? Use your brain! These people are vicious! They're violent! They're ignorant! And they want to cut us up! Oh, smart guy, you didn't know that, huh? Huh? They want to cut us up! But listen, this one on trial, all right, listen, we've got him. All right, we've got him right there where we want him. All right, it's one. It's one. I say we get him, all right? We get his kind before they get us, all right? Listen, I don't care about the law. They don't. Why the hell should I care about it?
You just stop all this. Just shut up!
Oh, brother, I'm just getting started here. How'd you like me to shut you up? Because I'm still going, pal.
We've heard enough. Now sit down and don't open your filthy mouth again.
All right. All right. That's the way you stupid bastards want to play it? That's the way we'll play it. You just let them take over. They're going to cut you up, pal. Every single one of you. But hey, good luck with that, huh?
Prejudice. It's a difficult thing to keep prejudice out of a thing like this. And wherever it shows up, prejudice just obscures the truth. Now, I don't think there's any real damage that's been done here because I don't know what the truth is. Maybe no one ever will, I suppose. We 9 now seem to think that the boy on trial is innocent. But we might be wrong. We might be looking to put a guilty person back out into the community. I suppose that we'll never know. But what we do know, and what we do have, is a reasonable doubt. And this is an extremely important safeguard within our system. No jury can convict a person unless they are absolutely sure. We 9 can't see how you 3 are still so sure. Maybe you can explain it to us.
Very well. I'll try. You've made some impressive points. The last one, in which you proved that the boy wouldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father, was very persuasive. I'll give you that. But I still believe the boy is guilty of murder, and I have 2 reasons. 1, the testimony of the woman across the street who saw the murder being committed.
You tell me, brother. I mean, that is the most important testimony in the entire case as far as I'm concerned.
And 2, the fact that she described the murder as seeing the boy raise his arm up over his head and plunge it into his father's chest. She saw him do it the wrong way.
He's right. He's absolutely right.
Now, let's take this woman for a second. She said she went to bed that night at about 11 o'clock. Now, in her apartment, in her room, her bed was right next to the window. And as she was lying down, she could see directly into the window, through the window, into the boy's window across the street. Now, she went to bed at 11. She tossed and turned for about an hour. Then at 10 minutes after 12, she happened to look up, and through the windows of the passing L train, she saw the boy in the act of stabbing his father. Now, the lights went out immediately after, but she got a good look at him in the act of killing him. This, to me, is unshakable evidence.
That's what I'm saying. That is the entire case, gentlemen.
What do you think? How about you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's so much evidence to sift through. I mean, it's a pretty complicated business.
Frankly, I don't see how we can vote for acquittal.
I mean, you can't put the evidence in logical order very easily.
Look, you can throw out all the evidence. She saw him do it. What more do you need?
Well, maybe.
All right, Mr. Foreman, I want to call for another vote.
All right, gentlemen, there's another vote called for.
I'm going to change my vote. Guilty.
All right, 8-4. Anybody else?
Why do you take this vote as such a personal triumph?
Because I'm the competitive type, okay? All right, here's what I think. I say we're a hung jury. Let's take it into the judge.
Wait, before you didn't want a hung jury.
Well, I do now.
But you thought it was immoral for
Well,
us
that's
to...
because before I realized all these morons wouldn't even pay attention to the facts. We'll never get this done. We could be in here all week. Well, I want to hear some arguments. I say we're a hung jury. Well, what about you? You're the leader of this cause. What do you say?
Let's go over it again.
We've been over it again. Mr. Flagpole here is bouncing back and forth more than his breakfast
Wait
cereal.
a second, you have no right to talk to me.
Oh, I apologize on my knees.
Look, maybe
Come on, no, wait. Let's get out from under this thing, all right?
Fine. Maybe it's about the point where we begin to talk about a time limit. What time is it?
6:15.
6:15. Someone before mentioned 7? All right. I think 7 o'clock would be a good point in time that we could begin talking about the question of whether or not we're a hung jury.
Don't you feel well?
What? Yes, I do. I was just talking
The
about...
only reason why I asked it because you keep rubbing your nose. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you made a gesture that reminded me of something
I'm sorry, I was trying to make a point. Do you mind?
Oh, this is very important.
Very well.
Thank you. So, tell me, why were you rubbing your nose like that?
Oh, come on, will you please?
Right now I'm speaking with this gentleman here. Now tell me, why were you rubbing your nose?
Well, if you must know, I guess it's because it was bothering me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it because of your eyeglasses?
Yes, it is. Now, can we move on to something else, please?
Your eyeglasses. They make those deep impressions on the sides of your nose. Huh, I never noticed that before. Must be annoying.
Yes, they are very annoying.
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I've never worn eyeglasses. 2020.
Will you get on already with the optometrist bit?
The woman who testified she saw the killing, she had those same deep marks on the sides of her nose.
Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah.
Please, gentlemen, please, just give me a moment, and I'll be finished. You know, I hadn't thought about that before. But she had those deep marks on the sides of her nose. And she kept rubbing her nose in court.
Yeah, he's right. She did do that a lot.
Now, this woman is about, 45 years old. Oh, but making tremendous effort to look like she's 35 years old for her first public appearance. Heavy makeup, dyed hair, new clothes that should have been worn by a much younger woman. No eyeglasses. See if you can get a mental picture of her.
What do you mean, no glasses? You don't know whether she wore glasses.
How would you know?
She had those marks. I saw them.
Well, what does that mean?
No, he's right. I sat closest to her in the jury box, and she definitely had those deep
All right, so what
things
point
on
are you
her
trying to
nose.
make?
That she had marks on her nose.
Okay, she had dyed hair and marks on her nose. What point are you trying to get to?
Could those marks have been made by anything other than eyeglasses?
No, they couldn't.
Well, what are you saying? I didn't see any marks.
I saw them. Strange, I didn't think about them before now.
Well, why didn't the lawyer bring it up? He didn't say anything.
Well, there's 12 of us that are in here focused on this case. And 11 of us didn't think of it either.
All right, Clarence Darrow. Then why didn't the district attorney bring it up? You think he'd pull some kind of stunt like that and have her testify without putting on her glasses?
Have you ever seen a woman who needed to wear glasses but didn't because she thought it ruined her looks?
Yeah, my wife. I tell you, as soon as we get out of
Maybe
the
the
house.
district attorney didn't know either.
That's what I was going to say. Okay, she has marks on her nose. I'll give you that. Because she wore glasses, right? She didn't want anybody to think she wasn't gorgeous when she left the house. Well, the night she saw this kid murdering his father, she was in her own home, alone. And that's that.
Do you ever wear eyeglasses to bed?
No.
So then it's safe to assume that the woman wouldn't have had eyeglasses on when she was lying in bed and tossing and turning and trying to get to sleep.
How would you know?
I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing that she wouldn't have had the glasses on when she was laying in bed, when she casually turned and looked out the window. By her own testimony, she said she saw the killing, the lights went out, she wouldn't have had time to put them on then.
Oh, don't
And
give
I'm
me this
also
again.
guessing that she honestly believed that she saw the boy commit the murder. But I think all she could see was a blur.
How do you know what she saw? How do you know all these things? You don't know whether she wore glasses. Maybe she was farsighted. Maybe she wore sunglasses. How do you know?
The only thing I know is that the woman's eyesight is in question now.
She would have had to identify the murderer from 60 feet away in the dark.
Right. You can't send someone off to die in evidence like that.
Oh, don't give me that.
It's not possible?
No.
Do you think it's possible?
Yes. I say not guilty.
How about you back here? Do you still think he's guilty?
Do I think he's guilty? Yeah. Yeah, I do think he's guilty. But guess what? I don't give a damn anymore. You morons can do whatever you want.
So how do you vote?
How do I vote? Not guilty. Do whatever you want.
You son of a... I say he's guilty.
Is there anyone else here who still thinks he's guilty?
No, you've convinced me.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I now have a reasonable doubt.
It's 11-1.
So what about all the other evidence? The knife and all that business?
You said we throw out all the other evidence.
You're alone.
I don't care if I'm alone. It's my right.
It's your right.
Well, what do you want? I say he's guilty.
We want to hear your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
We are not convinced. We want to hear them again. And we have as long as it takes.
Everything. Everything, every single thing that went on in that courtroom. And I mean everything says this boy is guilty. What do you think, I'm an idiot or something? Bunch of lousy, bleeding hearts. Can't intimidate me. Got a right to my opinion. I can stay in this damn room for a year. Oh, somebody say something! What about the old man? The old man that lived there and heard everything! Or the knife? What, because he found another one like it? And the old man's song on the stairs! What difference does it make how many seconds it took? What's the difference? Every single thing! Oh, and he dropped the knife in his pocket. You can't prove he didn't get to the stairs! You can hobble around this room all you want, but you can't prove it! Oh, that business with the L. Oh, the movies! Oh, there's a good one. I'll bet you $5,000 I remember the movies I saw! Every single thing has been twisted and turned in here. Oh, the woman with the glasses! How do you know she didn't have them on? She testified in court! Well, that's it. That's the whole case. Oh, with a boy yelling out. The phrase was, I'm going to kill you. He said that to his own father. His own father. I know this boy. What they do to you. How they tear you apart, how they kill you a little bit every day. My God, why don't they see? Am I the only one that sees it? I can feel the knife going in.
He's not your boy. He's somebody else's.
Let him live.
Not guilty.
Oh my.
We're ready. All right, gentlemen, bring your coats and come this way.